welcome back to Best in the Biz, the pod talking business with College of the North Atlantic student and alumni entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Ian MacDonald, and today we're talking with Kyle Callahan, owner and operator of Kyle Callahan Photography. Originally from Mount Pearl, Kyle stayed on the East Coast, where he went on to study graphic design at CNA. After schooling, Kyle founded his photography business. Thanks, Kyle, for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing best kind, Ian. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Deadly.
All right, to start out, tell us a little bit about your business and how it came about.
I'm a grown man taking pictures of toys. That's the bottom line. No, I like to mix together pop culture with the local scenery and local traditions and whatnot. And I started it back in, 2012 now. I graduated 2011 and just dabbled in it, did the craft fairs and sci-fi markets, and that's where it really blew up.
Yep.
And went full time with it in 2014. And I also do wedding photography and all that too. So that also adds to the gist of what I do. But a lot of it is just my toy photography that I do, putting Godzilla in St. John's Harbor, or Batman down by the Basilica, or Deadpool down on Water Street and C'est La Vie.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It seems to be kind of taken off there too. I've seen it in a lot of spaces on social media and stuff. It's really cool.
Thanks.
I must say. All right. So what kind of role did CNA play with respect to your business?
That is where I learned all my technical knowledge of like Photoshop and Illustrator and all the digital programming that I had to use for learning photography. I never touched a camera before I entered the program.
Okay.
I only came to Kona because I was always big into drawing and painting, and I want to add an industrial sense to it and try to get into the workforce through that way. But
yeah.
I fell out of web. I wasn't really keen on punching in code and digits, and made my eyes spin. Like, it's not for everybody, but
Of course.
fell in love with the camera and studio work through there, and just kept on pursuing that.
Okay. That's awesome. It seems like you're really enjoying the photography as well.
Oh my God, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Right?
Yeah,
you meet so
nice.
many cool people too, right? Like,
Yeah.
touch so many lives and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Yeah, it's interesting to do like the action figure photography
Yes.
and the wedding photography too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a big thing in so many people's lives. So it's full circle for sure.
Oh, totally. Like, the looks I get I'm taking toys downtown and whatnot, and I'm posing them, and I get some weird, funny looks from a lot of folk, right? So
Yeah, I would say yeah, but it turns out great, I must say.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, what made you become an entrepreneur? So,
An entrepreneur? Well, I was working currently as a framer at the time, and I couldn't give up my Saturdays, and I wanted to try wedding photography, and I pursued that, and they said, do you give me a choice between one or the other? And I went with the photography side, and that's where it stuck. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, good stuff.
Sorry if I cut you off there.
No, geez, jump in whenever.
Okay.
So you started out with wedding photography and then
Yeah.
moved into the other different photography. Did you?
The toy photography? No, I started that, like, my first original piece was Godzilla coming through the St. John's Narrows,
Yeah.
which is pretty widely known.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree. Yeah, it is.
So it was a final project for my graphic design,
Oh, really?
right? So, like, I
Oh,
wanted
wow.
to learn Photoshop more, so I did 4 or 5 different projects on Photoshop, and that being one of them.
Yep.
And seeing the appeal it got from a lot of folk, I just continued on with it and did, like, sci-fi and the rock and all that, and that's got more and more. But I was
course.
only mostly doing just small-scale studio stuff, not really focusing on mixing the local, like, scenery with the figurines and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good stuff. CNA's Entrepreneurship Hub is your one-stop shop for entrepreneurial support. I'm Ian MacDonald, host of Best in the Biz and Business Development Officer, Entrepreneurship at College of the North Atlantic. CNA has countless entrepreneurial success stories from students, alumni, faculty, and staff. Our Entrepreneurship Hub aims to further support this kind of success. The Hub includes workshops, resources and information, details on our mentorship program, and much more. Check us out at www.cna.nl.ca/entrepreneurship. The website link is in the show notes. Now back to our episode. Okay, so what would you say your most successful small business moment is? So up to date, was there anything that really stood out over the years you've been operating?
I mean, I've had a storefront downtown for a couple years, and this was before Snowmageddon and whatnot. But I had a business partner at the time, and he wanted to pursue his bar front and wanted to leave, and I couldn't find no one to capture it, so I had to shut her down. But it was right before Snowmageddon, so it was kind of a plus in that fact because we would have went out of business right then and out. And starting the farmers market, getting that a full-time spot there has been really big for me too.
Yeah, I would say the farmers market seems to be a really hot topic here in St. John's, and it seems to be doing a lot for a lot of small businesses in the area.
Yes, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so that's a great spot to set up. Okay, was there any other moments that you'd like to touch on?
Not that I can recall. If
Oh, okay,
not,
perfect.
I do apologize.
Hey, again, not a problem.
Yeah.
My God. All right. So, what advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur just looking to get started?
Oh my God. Follow your passion, follow what you really enjoy, but also think about your audience at the same time. So, like, just don't do what you love 100%. Try to, like, do a 20-80% job on what you love versus what you're trying to get to the audience. And then once you get established, try to focus more on what you want to put out there.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the only way you can really get your foot in the door.
That's right.
You got to build a name for yourself and yada yada. So
Yep. And especially as a photographer, artist, you kind of have to build your own style, and then I
Yes.
guess the audience kind of follows your
different, right?
style, right? So
because
yeah,
you can see local photography a dime a dozen,
that's right. Yeah.
right? So I try to do a little bit different on that, and
Yep.
it seems to work.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's definitely a niche there.
Yeah.
You got quite the niche, which is really nice. Okay, so we do have a few questions here from the audience. So we're going to start out with one from Charles Paul Murphy,
Okey-doke.
Executive Director of Quadrangle NL. So, what inspired you to do the type of artwork you do for a living, and how have you found turning a passion into a business? How do you find the balance between the two of them?
Well, I've always been a big nerd, right? Like I'm a Godzilla dork, as it were, and I've collected toys and figurines and all of that. And movie collection galore. I got everything home. The wife is not too well. She don't care. We found a happy balance there, but that's fine. But I get to play around with toys and mixing together that and applying it to the workforce for my own personal sake, right? So, and getting to see people appreciate what I do is also really good as well.
Very rewarding, I would say. Hey.
Yes.
Good stuff. Okay. Next question. Kyle, did you ever use action figures for your CNA projects? If so, which ones? And this is from Matthew Ledrew, co-founder of Engen Books.
That's right. I do believe I've already answered that with the founding or the final project.
That's right.
Yeah, it was Godzilla coming through the narrows. Godzilla's only like 1.5 inches tall, little tiny figurine. I did a huge panoramic from the room's museum up on their balcony, and I was like click, 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 and it's a huge piece. And stitched it all together myself and down the D block here at CNA, and put it all together and play with a bunch of filters and lighting and try to get the certain perspectives of Godzilla and pop me in at little splashes of the tail, and then,
There it was. That's really cool. All right. Thanks, Matthew and Charles, for submitting those questions. And I wanted to thank you, Kyle, for chatting with me today.
No, my pleasure. Can I also add a little something about Matthew with Engen Books?
Yes, of course.
I'm on a partner project between myself as the photographer, a writer, and my old high school art teacher. She's doing the sculpture work. So we're doing a collab, doing a book together, being published by Engen Books.
Oh, nice.
As the Fairies of Foggy Island. And so, like, she did the sculpture work and it's all, like, pushed. What's the yarn texture? Needle felted stuff. So it's all about fairies and about a professor going on an island, and hopefully the book is supposed to be released later on this year. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that is a huge deal. Yeah,
I should have forgot to mention that.
No, that's all good. The title seems quite fitting for Newfoundland.
Right?
Yeah, awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we kind of clue up today?
No, my buddy, I think that's it.
Yeah, okay. Would you like to share your social medias so the audience can get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can just look me up on Facebook and Instagram at just Kyle Callahan Photography. And I got my own website. It's just kylecallahan.ca, where you can purchase pictures or browse through my wedding portfolio. So,
Excellent. All right. Thanks for joining us once again. That's a wrap for this episode, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Best in the Biz, CNA's entrepreneurship podcast. Leave a review if you liked today's episode, and keep up to date with all new episodes on our website at www.cna.nl.ca/entrepreneurship and on all other major streaming services at Best in the Biz CNA.